this time of the year. This thing about people getting married on Saturdays during college football season is a scourge, Mr. President. It's dividing families. I don't know if we can have an executive order on this. It's insane, but it's really difficult. There's 7 other months of the year that people can get married, so I just wanted to say that because it's very, very difficult. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Mr. President, you've heard from around the table how people are grateful to have an opportunity to be part of this team, have an opportunity to work for you, and have an opportunity to serve the American people. And I would say as we head into this Labor Day, the thing that really differentiates you and your leadership and everybody around this table is one word, and that's respect. Because this is a group of people that respect our farmers and ranchers. We respect the people that are in law enforcement. That's a huge change. Respecting the people that are in uniform, respecting our veterans, respecting our shrimp fishermen. I mean, whoever it is in this country, people that are building our roads. This whole group embodies that sense of respect. And when we start with that, then who benefits? We come up with policies that help those people. And what have you done? You've led an opportunity for us to have the lower taxes, way lower deregulation, record amounts of investment that's coming into this country. We're going to be seeing lower interest rates. All of those things coming together is a gift to the working people. The policies are lifting everybody up. There's 140 million Americans that get up and go every day and drive to work. They commute. And one of the most obscene things of the prior administration was their energy policies was creating a hidden tax on those people. The poorer you were, usually the further you had to drive because you couldn't afford the housing. If you were working in a hotel, if you were working in a service industry, we were taxing them. The hidden tax on them was the high cost of energy. You were perhaps one of the only leaders in the world that understood the connection between peace abroad and prosperity at home was directly connected to energy policy. You came in and said, we're going to sell energy to our friends and allies. We're going to bring prosperity at home through policies here by having lower energy prices. And we're going to stop funding wars abroad with energy policies that help their adversaries and hurt us. You said we're going to sell energy to our friends and allies. And with the work that Jameson and Howard and Scott and everyone has done on these trade deals, we're going to have an opportunity to have a renaissance in American energy, selling energy to the world, which is going to help bring peace abroad. But the real key thing in closing, I want to say is 2 things. One has to do with the U.S. Park Police. That's the group here in Washington, D.C. They're the oldest uniform law enforcement group in the nation. You coming out and visiting with them in person before they went out on the surge. Not only are carjackings down, muggings down, homicides down, everything down, morale is through the roof. Just like Pete saw, we've got record people signing up to want to be part of our military. You have breathed life back into the profession of law enforcement. Your respect for law enforcement is so incredible. It's making a difference. And then us giving them the tools. On a lighter note for everybody here, one of the rules that under President Trump we were able to change for the U.S. Park Police was they could do a pursuit. I was shocked to find out when we were talking to them, like, oh, you pull somebody over and they just drive away and you can't pursue them? I mean, and they said, no, we can't. They said, all rules. We got that rule changed in 24 hours because of President Trump's leadership. The next night, they had so much fun. They pulled people over. They started to take off. They chased them. They stopped them. And then the bad guys, some of these were in cars that had stolen plates. So they take the plate off. They steal them off somebody else's car. They know that the plate doesn't match. They know they're doing this thing. The bad guys in the car said, What you're not supposed to chase us. Like you're breaking the rules. The bad guys are telling us to bring them. No, we're back in action. So it's like, and so the morale is high. They all wanted to say thank you to you. Yesterday, you announced increasing the number of U.S. Park Police that we're going to hire. This is the group that protects not only our sacred monuments of democracy here, but also the Statue of Liberty and the Golden Gate. This is a great group. But on behalf of all law enforcement, we say thank you. And as Chris Wright was talking about electricity, I want to close with that. We've solved amazing things in 7 months, but the big challenge we have against the remaining is, solving Iran's nuclear thing, that was an existential threat. China beating us in the AI arms race, that's an existential threat. We finally have a president who talks about it. You talked about it in your opening remarks. You've signed executive orders. You understand that essentially we used to say hundreds of years ago, people started saying that knowledge is power. But now, for the first time in history, we can take electricity and we can convert it into intelligence. So it's flipped. It's no longer knowledge is power. power is also knowledge. And while we're ahead on the technology, we're way behind China on the amount of electricity they're bringing online. And your strong position to support affordable, reliable energy using our nation's resources, including those across the Department of Interior, bringing back coal mining, bringing back mining, bringing back timber. All the industries that have been killed in this country are coming back to life because of you. And with your leadership, we have a chance to not only win the AI arms race, but actually dominate it the way we're dominating in other things. So thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. And we're leading that race right now by a lot. And we're going to keep the electricity coming. You know, in China, they do it very quickly. They have one person that says do it, and that's it. But essentially, we have one person that says do it, and we've given that order, and the job they've done has been amazing. And I want to thank again, Lee, what you're doing in that regard is so important. Rapidity, just as fast as them, because it's a question of a week versus a day, and that's not going to make the difference. But you've done fantastically, and Doug and Chris, amazing job. So we've done this for a little while now. I don't think you've ever seen anything like it, and you know, I think Sean was right. These guys that are holding these up, if you ever try holding your hand out for 2 hours, that's a long time. These are pretty strong characters. You've been doing that a long time, I guess. Congratulations. Are you getting tired? Are you getting tired? I'm looking at these guys. They look like they have no problem. It's amazing, actually. I think they would have beaten you guys in the test. So I want to thank you. If you want, you know, it's been a long time. If you want, we could go in and we can call it a day. And feel free then to ask some of the questions here. Look, I believe in very open, you know, we want to be open, above board. We want to be honest with the media. I wish the media was totally honest with us, but I think they're getting better, to be honest with you. And so we'll see. But if you want to take a few questions.
On a serious note, when it comes to Fed Governor Lisa Cook, her lawyer has said that they're going to be filing a lawsuit challenging this legal action. What is your response? Are you prepared for a legal fight? And then a little bit more.
Oh, sure. Always. You always have legal fights. Look, I had a legal fight that went on for years with crooked people, with very horrible people, people that have been found out now between John Ratcliffe and Tulsi and Pam. And I mean, the things that we found out, of course, it's a very, very sad group of people. But no, she seems to have had an infraction, and she can't have an infraction, especially that infraction, because she's in charge of, if you think about it, mortgages, and we need people that are 100% above board, and it doesn't seem like she was. Yeah,
Mr. President, first, I would love to ask you a serious question, but I have to tell you the biggest pop culture news of the year broke while we were in this cabinet meeting. Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are engaged, and the world wants your reaction, sir.
Oh, Jesus.
No, I think he's a great player. I think he's a great guy, and I think that she's a terrific person. So I wish them a lot of luck.
On a serious note, Mr. President, in May, Secretary Rubio said that they were aggressively removing visas of Chinese students. Yesterday, you said you wanted to allow 600,000 Chinese students to study in the United States. Could you and the Secretary clarify what is the policy on Chinese students in the United States?
Well, we think we're getting along very well with China. And I'm getting along very well with President Xi. I think it's very insulting to say students can't come here, because they'll go out and they'll start building schools and they'll be able to survive it. But I like that their students come here. I like that other countries' students come here. And you know what would happen if they didn't? Our college system would go to hell very quickly. You'd have, and it wouldn't be the top colleges. It would be colleges that struggle on the bottom. And you take out 300,000 or 600,000 students out of the system. I like having, and I told this to President Xi, that we're honored to have their students here. Now, with that, we check and we're careful and we see who's there. And Marco wants that. We're in the same position. But we have a tremendous college system, the best in the world. Nobody even close. That's why China sends them here. And you can call it.
All right, guys. Well, listen, we have Donald Trump with a cabinet meeting going on. That's what we are streaming for you right now. Thank you for tapping in. We appreciate it. All 26 of you guys watching on X and YouTube right now. This is the Coin Zone. I'm Crypto with Paul. I'm looking to see if he's going to say anything interesting here. Howard Lutnick introduced and said something pretty interesting today on the Squawk Box a couple hours ago. I want to see if he's going to tap on that a little bit. Alt season, let's go. Yes, sir. Shout out to Supreme. Appreciate you for tapping in. Yeah. Let's just get back to Trump. I want to see if he says anything interesting. They're talking about a lot, China, AI, all this stuff. So let's just continue. If anything pops out, maybe we'll dive deeper into that. If not, then we'll just take a look at what Howard Lutnick said. Let's get back to it.
When students come in,
Whoops.
that we can't necessarily say that. These are places that have ideologies that we can't live with. So there are some areas, some countries that we can't say that, but we're honored to have the students come here. Please. Yeah, please.
Yesterday you said that within 2 to 3 weeks we have a conclusive, pretty good conclusive end to the war in Gaza. What did you mean by that? And could you tell us
On what?
in the war in Gaza?
Yeah, what about it?
You said in 2 to 3 weeks we would have a conclusive end, a pretty good conclusive.
There's no conclusive. It's been going on for a long time. You're talking about, I guess if you really add it up, Steve, you're talking about thousands of years, okay? It's been going on there's nothing conclusive, but hopefully we're going to have things solved very quickly with regard to Gaza and also with regard to Ukraine and Russia.
Mr. President, who are you considering for the replacement to nominate for Lisa Cook, and what economic background or history are you?
Well, we have some very good people for that position, and I think we have some very good people. We're down to, I think I maybe in my own mind have somebody that I like, but I deal with Scott and I deal with Howard, and we're dealing with a lot of people actually that are going to be involved in that decision. Ultimately, it's a very important decision, as we see. I got a bad recommendation when I went with Jerome Too Late. He's too late. His nickname is Too Late, costing us a lot of money, hurting the housing. Our housing industry is good, but it could be phenomenal. Most of this country, in economic terms, has been phenomenal. We've never seen anything like it. Because of him and his high interest rates, the housing is less than it could be. We're going to get that straightened out very quickly. He gets out very quickly, fortunately. He's been the wrong guy. Not a bad person, I don't think, but I do think he has motives, by the way, but I don't consider him. I've dealt with worse, but he hasn't done the job. The recommendation from a certain person was not a great recommendation. That person vouched for him, but we're doing a very careful study. We'll see what happens. Look, we just put a very good man in one position. We might switch him to the other. It's a longer term and pick somebody else, but we're very happy with the person we have in there. And we'll have a majority very shortly. So that'll be great. Once we have a majority, housing is going to swing and it's going to be great. People are paying too high an interest rate. That's the only problem with housing. We have to get the rates down a little bit. And when we do, it's going to be a tremendous difference. The country
Rates are coming down in September, guys.
Is doing so well.
Odds are high on poly market.
It sort of blows through the fact that we have a man who's too late and not doing a very good job. Please, in blue.
That is very interesting.
DC, something that might help, especially ladies, is being able to carry. I know you talked about reciprocal carry. Would you like for that to apply here in Washington, D.C.?
When you say carry, I assume you're talking about carry what we're talking about,
Concealed
right?
or
In other words, carry a gun. Is that right? Would you like to carry a gun?
I would like to, yes, sir.
You'd feel a hell of a lot better, right?
I absolutely would.
I agree with you 100%. Okay.
Okay, great.
But I'll tell you, within another couple of weeks, it's hard to believe what's been accomplished in 12 days, but within another couple of weeks, you won't have to carry. You're not going to have to carry. You're going to be safe. People are safe now. The turn has gone fast. I knew it was going to go fast, but this turn has gone really fast. And within a month or two, this is going to be one of the safest places in the country. I have no doubt about it. And we'll do an extension. We'll work with Congress, or I could declare an emergency, but I don't think that's going to be necessary. We'll work with Congress. We're going to be working with Congress. I spoke with our great speaker, and I will be speaking to John Thune. And we're getting tremendous support from Congress, especially maybe here. Everybody wants to see our capital be great. Could say be great again. It's such a beautiful place. But if you have crime, nothing looks beautiful. So, but you won't need to carry a gun. But if you do,
Well, I would like
it's
to
going to be
have
your
the
choice.
option, just in case.
Well, a lot of
Sir,
people feel that.
Also in other blue cities, you've got Karen Bass in Los Angeles, Brandon Johnson in Chicago. It seems to be very popular here, the fact that people can walk around, go to restaurants, shop, not
Yeah.
have to worry about their safety. If blue city mayors oppose those efforts in their cities, do you anticipate the Democrat voters are going to take it out on them at the
I
ballot?
think so. I think that crime is going to be a big thing. And we are the party, the Republicans are the party that wants to stop crime. We're against crime. The Democrats like crime. I don't know why. I mean, we talk about common sense. I think I got elected on talking about common sense. The border, we have to have a wall. We don't want transgender for everybody. We don't, as I said before, we don't want to have men playing in women's sports. I mean, you see the difference. Weightlifting. Take a look at weightlifting. Take a look at long distance running, where a runner came in 5 hours and 14 minutes ahead of another runner, both champions. One male, one. It's not fair. It's demeaning to women. It's so bad. But they have another one, and I think this is the beauty of them all: crime. They're against crime prevention. You can't do that. You can't do that. And it's. I think to myself, I say, is there some game? You know, they're smart people. Is there anybody that could cheat like that in elections is smart, okay? And there's never been in history anybody that could cheat like that. They're smart. They're brilliant in many ways. I say, is there some trick to this? When they say Trump is in Washington, D.C., stopping crime, he's a dictator, and people are being mugged like your brilliant associate here. I don't know how you're alive. I mean, based on that story, you got very lucky. He didn't just go, all he had to do is this, right? And, it's pretty amazing. So we have something. I think we have two things. I think what Bobby was talking about with respect to drug prices is unbeatable. Nobody else could have done it but us. And I think crime will be the big subject of the midterms and will be the big subject of the next election. Uh, think of it. They are, instead of saying Trump's right about crime, it's really bad in Chicago. You have a guy in Illinois, the governor of Illinois, saying that crime has been much better in Chicago recently, and Trump is a dictator. And most people say, if you call him a dictator, if he stops crime, he can be whatever he wants. I'm not a dictator, by the way, but he can be whatever he wants. I think it's going to be a big subject for the midterms, and I think the Republicans are going to do really well. They called it a trap. This Democrat consultant, they said, he's put him in a trap again because these are all traps. 80-20, but they're not 80-20. They're almost 100-0, all these issues. But I would say that crime is stronger than men playing in women's sports. I think it's stronger than transgender for everybody. It's transgender for everybody, according to them. It's stronger. Of course, this is the cause of it, open borders. Open borders gave us a lot of this crime. So they're sort of on an equal footing, I guess. But crime is going to be a very big subject. And you know what he should do if he was smart? Illinois or New York, if they want, or Gavin Newsom, they should call me and they should say, we got a problem. We could solve with this team, different players, but work the same way, because you'd leave them here. You don't want to take them out and let it go to hell. Everybody's so happy and I bet you walked over here today and you had no fear. Nobody has any fear anymore. For the last 12 days. But it would be so smart. Gavin is calling me up, say, you know what, we have a big problem. We have the Olympics coming up. We want to do well. We have tremendous problems on crime and other things, and would love some help. Chicago in particular, maybe right now. I mean, it's a disaster. It's a disaster. We could solve their problem in, it's bigger than this, let's say 2 months. Okay, working with their police. I know their police very well. I have a big project in Chicago. I was so proud of it. It's the best site in Chicago. I got it. Nobody else got it. I was happy as hell. That was when I was a real estate guy, and I got it. The Sun Times site, they call it. And I built the building. It's a great building. And I'm so embarrassed when I see the kind of crime stats coming out. They're so embarrassed. And if I were a governor, a Democrat governor, or mayor, or anybody having to do, I'd call up President Trump. I'd say, President Trump, we need your help. We saw what you've done in DC in a period of 12 days. This is 12 days. We haven't even started. This is going to be so safe. It'll be the safest place on earth. And we'll do the same thing in Chicago. But I'd like to be asked, as opposed to just going in and doing it. Because, you know, when you go in and do it, then they start screaming, oh, he shouldn't be here. We don't need him. We're doing so well. And then the better we do, they take credit for it. So it's really pretty unfair. Yes, go ahead.
Crime, for a lot of victims like myself, a big concern is long-term sustainability. Can you share with the American public about your plan in ensuring that DC is safe in the long term?
Longer term, yeah. Well, it's a great question. Number one, we want to stay there for longer than 30 days. As you know, we have an absolute mandate, and I can extend it, but I'd rather not have to declare a national emergency, because by that time, I mean, right now, there's not an emergency. We've done.
All right, guys, I am going to switch to something different here. I want to share something that Howard Lutnick said earlier today. I thought it was pretty darn interesting. So let's just shift gears to that and chop it up. If you came here for the Trump Live, didn't really think that much was going on there. Appreciate you guys for tapping in and watching that with me. But let's shift gears for a little bit here. All right. So U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick today announced that the U.S. will be issuing economic data on blockchain, beginning with GDP data. The U.S. government is officially embracing blockchain tech. Listen, guys, if you are here for the tech, right, you're not just here for gains, then this is something that you appreciate. This is a huge win. This is a huge dub. You know, RFK Jr. in the past has talked about using a blockchain for a voting system, but these are real world use cases where a blockchain, an open system, enhances, you know, our systems here in the United States. Like, we don't have a lot of trust with the government anymore for obvious reasons. But if you do things like this, it can basically bring that trust back, because there's nobody that can really mess with that data that's on the blockchain, that's verifiable. So I think this is such a sick thing. This is huge news. If we can have the voting system on a blockchain in the future too, that would be sick. I mean, everything right now is being put on a blockchain, whether it's tokenization, RWA. This is taking over for obvious reasons, guys. So, I mean, you know, this is something we got to celebrate. This is pretty sick news. All right. I just wanted to kind of finish it off with this. All right. This is CNBC. Howard Lutnick was on the Squawk Box following our excerpts from the unofficial transcript of a CNBC interview with U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. All right. Howard Lutnick. As soon as I took this office, sick. All right. So that is a typo there. All right. But this is pretty much just a transcription. Yeah. Pretty interesting, guys. But that is what is going on. Howard Lutnick was on the Squawk Box today, and he said some pretty interesting things. So, Donald Trump, World Liberty Fi, they were making moves today in the crypto space. Trump was just speaking live. Somebody in his cabinet, Howard Lutnick, the U.S. Commerce Secretary, made this statement today about issuing economic data on a blockchain. Didn't say which blockchain. That'll be interesting. But either way, guys, everything that is coming out right now is bullish. Very, very cool. Very interesting to see. A lot going on with ETH still. So Tom Lee is very bullish. You know, we might see over a 5K ETH soon. Maybe a 6K ETH soon. Who knows? But I appreciate you guys for tapping in. On 90 of you on X and YouTube. If you haven't subbed on YouTube, go ahead and do that for me. If you don't follow on X, do that for me as well. I'll be back here shortly with some more lives. So tap in when I'm back. I'll see you then, guys.